You know I never see my plants look so good, growing tall and straight like they should. But I like it, and I know you like it too. Growing veggies for me and you. I've got to grow them, oh yes I do, 'cause baby we'll be growing veggies by the lake shore. Behind those grasses, wicking beds producing more. Starting seeds in the basement, growing plants on the floor, and baby, talk dirt to me. Woo woo! Come on, Jules, talk to me. Dee 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 dee. Whoo whoo whoo. You never know what you're going to get on Small Scale Life. Bada boom, bada bing. It's delicious. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Learn, do, grow, and be a little better every day. Welcome to the Small Scale Life Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to the Small Scale Life Podcast. This is your host, Tom, breaking from tradition a little bit, the pre-recorded intro, just changing things up a little. I hope you enjoyed the opening song. That was a good time. I had a great conversation with my friend, Adam Rick. We've been doing live streams every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Central, and I had my Talk Dirt to Me hat on, and it just kind of inspired that opening song. And we've been having a lot of fun with these conversations that have turned into episodes of the Small Scale Life Podcast. So I'm real happy you're here. I'm Tom. I am the creator of the Small Scale Life. I'm just so thrilled you're here. We've had a very good year. After a couple of years of wandering in the wasteland, it's nice to be back and doing a regular podcast live stream on Mondays. This one came out a little late, but that's okay. I've been thinking about that opening song and coming up with the lyrics and all that good stuff. So I have a treat for you today. This is our 10th episode of the Adam and Tom live stream, the Ant live stream, every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Central. And it's our 10th episode. So once you hit that 10 point, a lot of podcasts, they drop off. We're going to keep going, and we're having a lot of fun with it. And this was a really good discussion about a few things, right? So we were talking about the tree lighting ceremonies in New Richmond and Okauchee, Wisconsin. So I went down and saw my friend Adam at the tree lighting ceremony, and I had a coworker with me, and we had a really good time seeing Adam and his family there and all the people there. Meanwhile, Jules, Ryan, and Rebecca, they were back here in New Richmond enjoying our tree lighting ceremony. That sense of community, you're building something there. It's really important to plug into that community and get to know the people around you, get to know the people in your neighborhood, right? So that's another parody song that I do. Beyond that, we talk about the new barrel gardens that I built, and that's going to be a big feature on Small Scale Life and Small Scale Gardening, my gardening efforts. So we're going to be showing that quite a bit. I built a few models over the weekend, and that was a good time. Big topic of conversation. There are two pieces of that. One is the 2024 conference that Adam attended. It is the Acres USA Eco Ag Conference. Really, it's all about regenerative agriculture, people doing some really cool stuff out there. And Adam attended that for 4 days, met some of the national leaders in this movement, like Gabe Brown, Mark Shepard, even Joel Salatin. He was there. We talk about that, get a debrief of his time there at that conference and the people that he met. And then we got some really good input from folks in the audience, and they were asking us about some small business ideas on an 8-acre homestead. And that was super cool because it allowed Adam and I to really think about what a person can do with 8 acres. And it's exciting. I mean, I had 10 acres, and if I had sat down and really brainstormed, I was coming up to some of these conclusions and some of these ideas, but it was time to move. It just wasn't for us. But someone who is just starting out and they've got this blank slate, you can do some really cool things. So Adam has 8 acres. I had 10 acres. I've got a half acre now. And we just kind of brainstormed about some things that this person could do to start develop a business, some kind of agribusiness on their property. So it's a really fun discussion. It went a little long, but it's totally worth it. I hope you're enjoying these episodes. I hope you enjoy this episode. And I'm really thankful that you all have stuck with the Small Scale Life podcast and all the stuff we're doing here. So I appreciate you and thank you for listening. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, whatever your holiday may be. Happy Yule, happy Joel. But I'm really excited about what 2025 is going to bring. There's a lot of things happening, and it's going to be a really fun year. And I'm going to be documenting a lot of that here on the podcast and also the Small Scale Life YouTube channel. So thank you very much. I hope you all have a great holiday. We'll see you very soon. And here's the main topic of the show. Yes. Well, hey, everybody, this is Tom from Small Scale Life. Welcome to the Small Scale Life podcast. Welcome to the Small Scale Life YouTube channel. It is another glorious week. This is episode 10 of the Ant Live stream and podcast. Julie's moving a chair around upstairs so I can hear that really loud, actually. I don't know if you heard that, Adam.
Yep. I heard it. It had a nice hum to it.
I know. Very deep, very rich. So welcome to the show, everybody. I am Tom, and I am here with my friend
Adam with Modern Frontier Farms.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Well, thank you for having me on again, and let's talk some cool stuff today. Lots been going on in my life. A lot has been going on in your life. It is 'tis the season, right? There's Absolutely. A lot happening for both of us. So, though I did have a visitor last week, kind of show up for about 30 minutes and disappear. But
was it St. Nicholas? Was it Rudolph? Was it the Bumble?
He was a big, jolly guy with a little bit of white in his beard.
Who could that have been? It's me. Yes, I was down in the area. And, before we get too far into that, say hey to Adam from Colorado. So I've got Adam from Wisconsin from Modern Frontier Farms, and I've got Adam from Colorado. Hey, man, he's been on the show. Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Yes, came down to your neck of the woods last week, and it was a lot of fun. So I was going to do a single person show on Monday night, but man, I got stuck in a horrendous traffic. And I just, at the end of that, I was like, I missed the time, and it wasn't going to happen. So then traveling with companions, it's always difficult too, to carve out the time after we go have a big dinner and all that stuff. So, but it was nice to see you, man. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was great to see you out there, even when it's just a short little bit. It means a lot to me when my friends show me the support of like, hey, you're doing something kind of cool. Let's see what he's up to. And I really do appreciate that. So if your friend is doing something cool, make sure you support them on that endeavor. One way or another, just show up a little bit. A little bit of support goes a long way.
I know, right? So, yeah, what's interesting is that part of Wisconsin is being given to the counterpart I was with. So I won't be able to make it over there as much. But funny how that kind of works out. I've seen you a lot here, and like 3 or 4 times in the past 6 months or so. And we'll just see where the river takes us. It's funny. You have this big plan and this big idea, but somebody on this channel has a lot of knowledge of the stuff happening over there. So I still get pulled back into things. So that will continue, I'm sure. And I'll still get to see you in your natural environment with your better half and your children too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. The wife and kids were out there, and that's always fun to have them out and about and seeing all the cool things I'm doing. And it means a lot to the community around me, right? To be able to do something cool for the community And I really hope that they recognize all the hard work that I put in. I think they do, and just it feels good to be part of something bigger than just my business. This is about a group of people coming together, small businesses bringing something back for the community, so that the community can feel a little bit more togetherness this time of year.
Right. So some, our viewers, our listeners later on the podcast are probably, what is he talking about? What are they talking about? So we went to the Okachi tree lighting ceremony. Okachi is a community near west of Milwaukee. And we went there, and Adam, you've been involved with the business community there and involved with folks there. So it was really cool. I don't think my counterpart had been to a tree lighting in a long time, especially in a small town. So that was really cool to bring her along. And also she is really into, they're really into eating good, healthy, not processed foods. And so making that introduction, she was like, super stoked about that. So, they've been looking for a supplier of really good meat and, grass-fed meat, and you were at the right place. We were at the right place at the right time to meet a fella who might have some of that.
Yeah. I'm always willing to meet someone that enjoys good food, good cooking. Love to talk about cooking. Anytime you see me out there talk about cooking, I'm game.
Right. And Rudolph did not end up, Rudolph is fine. Rudolph went back to the North Pole. Totally good. No worries there, correct?
From what I could tell, yeah. Just kind of hanging out. It's just cool to see those little reindeer, you know what I mean? They just kind of hang out, do their little thing. It's definitely something cool to see.
Right. And here's a little pen. They had some reindeer and people could get their photos with them. The kids were just loving it. And, for a person who's been deer hunting, you're looking at these reindeer and like, they're smaller than a big buck or anything, but you can see the velvet coming off the antlers. So hopefully no one got scared by that for sure. But they were really cool critters there in the small town of Okachi. And this was a really cool thing too. What is this guy, Adam? Where did this come from?
So that was out of my friend's front yard. He had it as a flower pot, this big cast iron cauldron, right? So it's a little bit hard to see, but I want to say it was a melting pot for like casting or something like that. I'm not positive on what it was really used for, but it does have, we installed a stainless steel band around it to help hold everything tight together. And then we made a cradle. My friend made it on his plasma cutter, made a cradle so it just sits on top in that cradle. And it just, man, that thing just radiates the heat.
Yeah, it was really nice. And they had where these people are standing over here back by the VFW or the Legion, I can't remember which, but they had a s'mores bar over there. So kids could make s'mores and just gather around the fire like everybody did. So all through history pretty much. So it was a really cool event. Had some speeches and by local officials and had really good turnout, I thought, for a smaller town. I'm sure a lot of those homes around the lakes up there are vacation homes. So people are snowbirds and have gone south to Chicago or down to Florida for the winter. And it was a really nice turnout. And then they had some caroling after the lights came on. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's a fun event. I'm glad they allowed me to be part of it this year. I was one of the guys that helped put the lights on the tree, and then we brought the fire ring and some hay bales for people to sit on. And the business community gave back by giving me recognition for the work that I did. And it's, once again, if you have a chance to be part of a community, do it. It really is rewarding to see good stuff like that happen.
Yeah. So after we went and left, because Adam was busy, obviously he had all his things to do and kids to take to see Santa. My partner and I, we went over to Smoke on the Water. It was a little restaurant just down the street, and it was really good. Had a great dinner there, and just really nice to spend a little time in this town and talk to the very nice people there in the restaurant. And it was just cool. And because I went to this one and it was traveling last week, I didn't go to the new Richmond one here near the landing, which was right down the street. So the library, the city hall, and the big trees that they lit up are right down the street from us here, within walking distance, a couple blocks away. So they had a really good turnout. Probably get close to. They had a parade, and then they do the lighting ceremony. So the locals were telling Jules that they can get like 5,000 people out at this thing, and then they have, I know, right? Then they have fireworks and all kinds of stuff. So Jules and Ryan and Rebecca had a great time there. They had a really good time, and it's just, get out and enjoy that, connect with the community, and build that community and be part of it, and don't just sit at home and watch TV and watch Yellowstone or something. Get out there and enjoy it, especially this time of year, because there's just a lot of magic in the air, and it's great to get out there and see it. So anything to wrap up here in Ogachi and our tree lighting ceremonies?
No, it was to me, it was a success. We had a lot of fun doing it. Got to be part of the community. I think all in all, a lot of kids had fun. I think there's going to be a few things that we improve for next year.
Mm-hmm.
But still, like, lots of fun. Got out there, did something. And with it being such a busy week, it turned out pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. And we're about to get into that, because I'm really curious about what you learned in Madtown, Madison, Wisconsin, with some of the big folks in the regen ag world. But we'll get to that in just a second. So I know we've been busy. I was busy this weekend. Got some really cool projects done. Man, I should bring this up. Got some great projects done. It's actually a Christmas present that I've got coming up. So that's all right. She's not going to see the stuff. Let's see. Here we go. All right, my little baby. Let me bring this up here. Let's see. Share screen, bringing it up. Here we go. So this is a new project that I'm doing. We're entering a new world here in the small scale garden in the backyard. This is a prototype that I built here. Is this little? I have got a number of half barrels, poly barrels, 55-gallon drums that this was used in a garden just north of us, and I bought them cheap. I mean, guy just want to get rid of this stuff. So I bought them real cheap, and I've got like 12 or 16 of these. Plus I have 3 full barrels, and really wanted to test this concept out of building a barrel garden. The person that I'm building this for is a little older, and I don't want this person bending over and also going into that garden where there's a lot of tripping hazards. So I wanted to build this where it could be on a deck, be on a patio. You're not going to be tripping over a root or a stone, or, because that's a real concern as you get older, is you kind of shuffle a little bit, and you hear a lot about older folks tripping and falling and breaking a hip, breaking an arm, breaking a leg. We don't want that happening. So I was testing this concept out. It worked out really well. Came up with the design. Let's see, do I have any pictures? Oh, I've got 2 varieties. So this is the taller variety. This has got 36-inch legs. So this would be great for like kale, spinach, lettuce, your salad greens, maybe some onions. And again, it's only 2 by 3. So it's not overwhelming, pretty easy. It'll be heavy though, once it's full of soil and wet soil and everything. But this is a little taller than the previous one, which is a 24-inch. That's 24 inches with the 24-inch legs. So a little bending with this one, but really this one would be better for like a tomato plant, or even you can put some trellis on this and even get some beans or cucumbers coming off of this. So really nice little project. Hopefully she likes it, but that's what I was up to yesterday. And then Saturday I was building a wood rack and starting to split some firewood and stuff for, I wanted a rack inside my garage so I can keep a little bit out there, not attract a bunch of critters, and just have some dry firewood. So once we get the fires going and stuff, I just have to go out there, and the main wood storage is going to be in the backyard. So try to make systems a little easier and a little better. So, can make things a little more efficient around here. So
Efficiency is good.
It is. It absolutely is. So can't wait to try this. I'm going to be building one of these for myself. But, like everything else, Adam, it's go big or go home. I'm going to build a 3-barrel garden planter. So I want to see if I can do it. And I think I can. It's just going to be heavy once I get this thing all put together. So
not just a double barrel. We're going to go the whole triple barrel.
3. It's like Spinal Tap, right? Sometimes you want to go to 10, but today I want to go to 11. And don't touch it. Go to 11, Adam. Go to 11.
Well, I can't wait to see the success on these little garden beds and how that all works for you.
Adam from Colorado says 6 barrels. 6.
Well, you might as well just go 18 at that point. 6.
Hey, we've got barrels. I've got a pond. Why can't I do what the Aztecs did, right? And float that thing out there, and we'll have an aquaponic system, right? Hydroponics. There we go. Boom. Use the resources available to me.
And you can feed the muskrats. That'll be great.
Yes, and we do have muskrats, and we will have otters, and I'm sure and the geese. Oh, they would love to lay in a bed of lettuce, don't you think?
Oh, I think so. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Right? Exactly. I would want to lay in a bed of lettuce. Why not?
I guess. I mean, if that's what you're into. I mean, I'm more of a steak type guy, but then again, laying in dead bodies doesn't quite make as much sense, does it?
No, it does not. So you were also at another event this weekend. You were at a bluegrass festival, weren't you?
Oh, yes. On Saturday, I was at the over at the Kettle Moraine Ranch, the German Bluegrass Christmas. Yes, it was a lot of fun. They had some really good local bluegrass bands. There was Chicken Wire Empire was there. There was, hey, he has an AR for his initials also. Way to go.
I know.
I like this guy more and more.
I know, right?
They had Pert Near Sandstone. So, yeah, there's a lot of really good bands there that they just rock,
Cool.
A lot of people went through, a lot of hippies there. It's a very interesting crowd. So
you fit right in. I mean, look at you. You fit right in, dude.
I'm the goody two shoes of that group, right?
Oh, okay.
So
we're talking. Here we go.
My friend brought his kids there. And this is definitely a family friendly event, but his 2 girls weren't very happy being there and everything, and they're being, what young pre-teenage girls would be. I think one is 10, the other one's like 14, and they're just like, Dad, we don't want to be here. This is boring. We're listening to bluegrass, whatever. Anyways, as they're walking out, they go, Dad, what kind of festival did you take us to? Just like, oh my God, this is horrible. And like, oh, just a music festival, that, just a Christmas music festival. He goes, Dad, the Grinch was smoking weed by the fire out there. And he goes, oh, so you saw that, hey? Oh yeah, we saw that.
And you know what that is? We need to have a conversation here.
Yes. So it was just hilarious just to hear the kids complain about the weed smoking of the Grinch.
Wow.
And I'm like, thank goodness I didn't see Santa. Anyways,
yeah, right. Dr. Seuss never showed that, man. That it makes sense. I mean, stinky weed and the Grinch, it kind of goes hand in hand, I guess.
Right.
No judgment, but
absolutely. So, anyways,
do you wear lederhosen into such things? I mean, I don't know. I've never been to a German bluegrass. I mean, is it like oompa polka stuff or what?
No.
Okay.
It was straight up hippie.
So disappointing.
Jam bam bluegrass going on there. There was no real German-esque anything. The only thing German was the food. The food was amazing. They ran out of food so really early, like around like 2 o'clock. They ran out of food.
Oh,
They said, "Hey, do you have any bratwurst?" Yeah, sure. So my beautiful wife brought a bunch of bratwurst to me.
wow.
And we got the cooking crew some more bratwurst. They gave me credit. It was something like another like 80 bratwurst, gone in another 45 minutes. So they didn't plan on enough food.
Wow.
So, but then there's this guy that had beef sticks there.
Yeah, this guy who knows a guy who might have meat, a whole freezer full of it.
Yep.
Who could that be?
That was me.
Oh, yeah. So do you get to, I mean, there's kind of you're at this event. I mean, are they paying you for the food that you're bringing in then? And because you're a supplier then?
Yeah. So they paid me for the bratwurst that I brought in, and people ate them up and everything. And so it was a good event to be there and be able to sell some of my meats. And we did well.
Awesome.
I got a little parked in. I wanted to leave at 7. I couldn't leave till about 1 o'clock.
Oh yes, just because the parking situation. I know how that goes sometimes, where you just you can't leave because everybody's parked you in.
So I stuck around and sold a few more beef sticks because people were drinking. People had the munchies. I don't know why they had the munchies.
No,
but it was a good event. Some awesome bands. I love really great bluegrass music.
So speaking of munchies and meat sticks, did you have this there as well? I mean, if you're talking munchies and everything, did you bring some gift boxes? Did you sell any of those? Yeah,
we sold a few of our gift boxes. This is our hyper local gift box. We have our beef sticks up there, our summer sausage, and then I work with a few other small businesses with like-minded ideas, right? So I have a few of my friends produce milk for the 2 cheeses there. We have a Colby Jack and a white medium cheddar. Great to go great on some awesome organic Potter's crackers. And then we have our smoked trout dip from my friends over there at Rushing Waters in
nice.
So yeah, it was this box can be shipped across the United States. Let's brag about the flavors that we have here.
It's all about the flavors, folks.
Absolutely. So for $47, and that's for local. If you want it shipped anywhere, we can make that happen. Just
cool.
Just send me an email, a text message, phone call, whatever. We'll get it figured out.
Right. And there's links on Small Scale Life. Any one of the Ant Live shows will have links and all that good stuff. And I'm thinking I've got a Dahmer's Gathering. I'll send a note to you, dude. So I want to have something like this for when my crew comes to town. I should have my sister pick this up on her way through or just ship it, whatever. Go. So yeah, it's good stuff, dude. Really good that you're working with local businesses and putting this all together. I think that's fantastic. So now the Cracker folks, were they at the Java Twist? Were they there, or this is a different supplier?
Nope, that's a different supplier.
Okay, gotcha. Well, this little advertisement brought to you by
Modern Frontier Farms.
Yeah, that's right. So now let's get to the main topic, because I know there's some folks that are really interested in this. I'm really interested in this. One of the big things that is coming, like it or not, and whether you're on one side of the spectrum or not, there is going to be a lot of conversation. There has been a lot of conversation with movies like Kiss the Ground or Kiss the Earth.
Kiss the Ground. Yep.
Yep. There's been a lot going on Regen Ag, and with certain new folks coming into the administration in Washington, D.C., they are supporters of Regen Ag, which is big. It's huge. And even Robert Kennedy Jr. Had an interview, and I saw this. I don't watch that stuff, but he was talking about environmentalism, and it all comes back to the earth, the soil. And he made this point, and it was like, yes, let's talk about that. So you were at a conference here, and notice I have my special hat on today. Well, shirt, growth, right? And we're talk dirt to me, baby. So talk dirt to me. That's what we're going to be doing today. So let's talk about where you were last week and why you missed the show, why I missed the show.
So I was over at Acres USA. Acres USA has been going on, conference has been going on this is the 49th conference. Was it the 49th conference? Yeah, 49th conferences. So going on for near forever, it started off with the Back to the Land movement, which in many ways never has really died out. It's just taken a few different forms, and now it's coming into the form of the regenerative agriculture, right? So as regenerative agriculture is taking grasp, I mean, remember back in the day when our buddy Jack Spirko was all hey, the regenerative ag, and it's similar to permaculture, except different, right? I got to meet several of the people up on here. I got to meet Gabe Brown, Joel Salatin, John Kempf, Alan Williams, Gary Zimmer, Mark Shepard, Luke Jones. I talked a little bit with Gordon Green, not too much. Chuck Schumer, Brian Daltrey. There's Will Harris. I even got to hang out with Will Harris. That was cool to see Will Harris, But these people are kind of been a spokesman,
yes,
for regenerative agriculture, whether they like it or not, they are, right? And they're trying to bring out to do it correctly. The biggest, scariest thing for many of us is regenerative agriculture not being done correctly. If it's not done correctly, what happens? Well, then it's BS. You can't do it. You say you're doing all this, and you're not doing it correctly. So therefore, you're going to lose, right?
Right.
And that's one of the scariest things that is going on right now, is making sure people are doing it correctly, and be able to teach them and give them the opportunity to do it, right?
Right.
So I spent 2 days with Gabe Brown and Alan Williams talking about how they do what they do, and really talking about the soil science behind that, because when it comes down to regenerative agriculture, it's all about the soil. No matter what, it's about the soil. It starts with the soil. Look, we have been on this earth, whether you believe in a supreme being putting us down on this earth, or you believe that evolution created us, right? It doesn't matter. What it comes down to is that nature has put a system in there, whether that's an intelligent being or evolution. We have to listen to that. And that's what we're learning now, is how can we grow and use nature to grow what we have right here, right? To grow what we need, and to need what we grow. So that's one of the most important things for us to understand, is we're working with nature, not just, it's nature's timeline. It's not our timeline. Now we can be a lot more financially responsible doing regenerative agriculture when done right, because I don't have to use fertilizers or very few fertilizers. And we always are looking to wean ourselves off of fertilizers. We're trying to see what we can do how much we can do more without. And each one of these guys has a little bit different twist on it. And guess what? It's like any other storybook. You get to make your own story on your land. Each one of us needs to become an artist, not a recipe taker, but an artist at our gardening, whether it's in your raised beds like you were showing us earlier, or whether you're sitting there farming 10,000 acres. You need to be an artist at it to manipulate the lands, just like a artist will manipulate the paint and the canvas or the marble. This is what we're trying to do, is we're trying to be artists at this and not just recipe makers, right? Not just mechanics at it. We're trying to go, okay, this is what nature's telling me. This is what I need it to do, and working together with nature and your artistic style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I got to meet Gabe Brown a few years ago, and I watched sat in on his presentation. It was amazing to see what he has done on his ranch in North Dakota. I mean, you look at the neighbor's property, it is dead and lifeless, like a lot of the farms are around here. I mean, they've harvested everything off. They've got some corn stubble, maybe, but probably not. They've tilled that under, and it's just dirt sitting there. And here's Gabe with, he's still got stuff in his fields, and it's still, it's retaining moisture. Just the runoff between, bare soil versus what he's got going on is just amazing. And the root structure is just, it's 8 feet tall or it's 12 feet deep. And over here, there's just nothing, because the typical modern farming is, okay, well, we've tilled it up. Now we're going to hit it with, even at the farm, right? They had alfalfa growing next door to our house. And I mean, my little podcast studio shed was like 15 feet from the edge of property. They had a guy that turned over, they brought in a new farmer, and he wanted to put corn in that field. So he wiped out the alfalfa by hitting it with glyphosate like 3 times, 3 sprays. It was like a cloud. This mist came over and just killed everything. And you could see, the voles and the moles and all the critters were coming into our yard. And in fact, my little black cat, Jamie here, she actually probably killed a couple of those, and she got sick for a couple of days because whatever that chemical was, that glyphosate, those chemicals affected the critters, and then it affected the cats. So you can imagine what's happening to the hawks and the owls and all the other critters, the coyotes, the other critters and raccoons, the other critters that are on our property, that all these things were escaping and they were eating and getting sick. So they hit it with the herbicide. Then they come in and they plant, they might throw some lime down, then they come and plant, then they fertilize, right? They put in all kinds of fertilizers. And then later on, they're going to hit it with an insecticide. So they are really like killing everything from plant to weed to bacteria, good bacteria, and then bugs. They're killing it all and making essentially a desert. And then they're putting on the fertilizer so the stuff can actually grow. I mean, not for nothing, I used a little Miracle Grow this year, and I was kind of doing the same thing to like push those plants along a little bit. I was cheating a little bit, but these guys are doing it on a 100 acres, 1,000 acres, 10,000 acres, spread. And imagine what that's doing. It's just wiping out all kinds of life in that soil. And the plants need life. They need the worms. They need the bugs. They need the bacteria and the rhizomes and all that stuff. They use all that as they grow. Otherwise, it's just Miracle Grow on a plant.
Right. You're doing a lot of aquaponic or hydroponics in the soil, right?
Yes.
You're adding, you're not having that soil life. That soil life makes those plants flourish. It makes those plants grow. And that's the reason why you can get roots so far deep.
Yep.
Down in the ground, because the biology is the ones that are making it go down there, right? It's difficult to get the fertilizer to go down there.
Yeah.
You don't have access to it. It's up on top.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have something working its way down. So there's the fungal mycelium that is in the ground there. You have the all the microbes that are going out there and bringing cool things, and the exudates. Yes, the weeds tell you what your soil is lacking and it has excess. Yeah, exactly. The weeds are there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
The weeds are there to protect the soil and to make soil. And when you go ahead and you just like, well, I don't want it here, you kill it, what happens? Bad stuff.
Right.
Bad stuff ends up happening. And you don't want your soil to be naked ever. And even the guys that are doing conventional no-till, they're making their soil naked.
Right.
Right now, I'm looking at the fields. There's nothing there. No, Mother Nature doesn't like to be naked.
I know. I've heard that years ago, and I was like, yes, that is absolutely true. I mean, let's face it, a lot of the ladies don't like to be naked for long. So
yeah,
they get cold and they get grumpy. So
exactly.
I mean, this is the way it is.
Yeah, when we're building soil, we have to be constantly covering it somehow or another, whether it's a mulch, whether it's having something there as a cover crop. And when it's something like corn's a really difficult plant, because it's the first plant to go in, it's the last plant to come out. And where I'm up in Wisconsin, where we're up here, Tom.
Yep.
It's too cold to be sitting there planting a cover crop after you take the crop off.
Right.
So how do you do that? Well, Gabe Brown has figured out a few ways, and his team has figured out a few ways to make cool things happen with the land. Yeah. Because when that land, we think right now, our land is frozen, right? Mm-hmm. It's dead. It's frozen. It's still underneath that frost. There's still microbiology going on. Right. There's still mycelium going on. Mm-hmm. It never dies. As long as there's something covering the top, it never dies. When you have something on top of that dirt, right, on top of that soil, what happens? It slows the frost from going deeper and deeper. Mm-hmm. It keeps the ground from having these huge swings in temperature one way or another. It's doing a lot of work. Even when we're sitting there thinking, oh, there's all the grass on there or the leaves there or whatever. It's dead. It's frozen. It's not doing something. It's doing a lot. Right. It really is.
Right. I mean, you think of the Dust Bowl, right? 1930s, Great Depression. A lot of those fields were bare and they lost so much topsoil because nothing was holding that down. Here comes the winds and just big dust cloud, or think of the desert even, there's no vegetation out there. It's just shifting sands. There's nothing growing out there until it rains. You might get some stuff popping up, but it's pretty barren stuff. And, you need the roots to hold stuff in place. You need, all that rich, the plants to decay and create that rich soil. I mean, think of some of the richest compost you can get is like a mushroom compost, right? I got all that stuff that's decayed in there. It's been dark and it's been just wet and getting all great for plants. I mean, that is some really good stuff. Or even your compost pile, right? I mean, it can heat up and do its thing, but you have to add some water to that to make it all go. And it's not just stripped bare and dumping endless fertilizer on it. It's just not, it's not good long term. You're salting the earth because a lot of our fertilizers are salt and oil, carbon, right? You're trying to add carbon back into the system and jiggle the handle and go around. I mean, really, the farming is a carbon sequestration system, and you're kind of just going around it by adding chemicals, right? Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't want to make it sound like, oh my goodness, all these farmers are bad people. Like,
no.
They're evil. Like,
no.
I'll tell you a lot of, one of the highest suicidal rates is from farmers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very stressful job. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, we got to get up and do this right now. We have to do 20 hours of work in this day and another 18 hours the next. And it's killer.
Yeah.
You don't get to see your family for about 2-3 weeks in the spring and 2-3 weeks in the fall. And then some. It's a lot of work. I understand that.
Yep.
And that's why
profit margins are so thin. I mean, if you're not figuring out how you can get a consistent and solid crop, you're in trouble real fast, especially with the cost of machinery and the loans on stuff. And it's tough, really hard.
And then to be a fourth or fifth generation farmer, sixth generation farmer, and then going, oh, darn it, I'm the one that failed. I'm the last one to farm. Like no one wants to be the last one farming.
Right.
It is. It's a curse that some of these guys have to hold, but no one wants to be the last one because it's been in their family since the mid 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And here, I'm the one that screwed it up.
Right.
It's a cross to bear that I'm very fortunate because I am a first generation farmer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that cross to bear. And I've discovered how happy and how better that is for me because I'm not afraid to not do things the old way.
Right. I was out in Knapp, Wisconsin, which is east of here between us and Eau Claire, and drove up to this farm to turn around because I had looked at this railroad crossing, and the sign out there had the list of generations that had farmed this particular location in the valley, and if you've been to Dunn County, I mean, it's up and down in hills because that's where glaciers dropped all their stuff, but it's amazing spot right there. And just to see that these generations way back to the 1800s, it's all on their farm, it's all on that sign right there. And it was like, oh, this is like Yellowstone, if you ever watched that show, going back to the 1800s. There's a real connection with the land. And I don't want to sound like we're taking a dump on those folks. Not at all. They're doing the best they can. And there's just a different way to approach it.
Mm-hmm. Well, right. And the thing is, when it comes to regenerative agriculture, there's things that we can do that a lot of these farmers can integrate in their systems to learn from. And maybe they will never go full on regenerative.
Right.
It might take 3 generations to get to where some of these guys are doing today. And that's okay. Because the number one job of a farmer is to be profitable. The problem is a lot of people are afraid right now to do anything weird or anything regenerative because, what are the neighbors going to think? Like, it's worse than high school. These guys are buying these huge tractors and this $1 million piece of equipment, and they're dealing with huge numbers, and they're constantly afraid of what the neighbor next to them or the guy down the road is going to sit there and think of them. I know for a fact that I have several farmers around here that think I'm a nutcase.
Well, you are a nutcase.
Well, yeah, they are. They're right. But they're like, oh, that's never going to work. What do you mean? Well, you got to fertilize the crap out of that. Oh, okay. Sounds good. 2 years ago, I had the greenest fields around. So there's that.
Yeah.
Putting the organic matter back in the soil, holding the moisture where it needs to be held. Yeah, I'm not afraid to be the one that I look like an idiot because guess what? They already think I'm an idiot because I didn't grow up doing it.
Newsflash, folks, we are talking to a couple of village idiots here. One guy's a wicking bed guy, and the other guy, well, he's Adam. So yeah,
it's okay. My beef's better than theirs.
And you know, like we've talked about a couple times on previous episodes of the podcast, where you were just explaining your operation and helping the Amish folks out. They're working on played out farms in central Wisconsin that, you know, fertilized to death. Eventually, kind of just, you know, the folks moved on. You know, it wasn't producing like it used to, and you know, they've been discovering this as well, right? I mean, some of the Amish groups you're working with, and you're kind of consulting with them and helping them along.
Right. You know, the whole mentality of the average farmer right now is they wake up and they go, okay, what do I kill today so that what I have can grow? And we're changing the mindsets of how that, and it's difficult because you growing up, that's they're going, okay, I got to kill these weeds.
Yeah.
I got to kill this grass. I got to kill these trees in order for my stuff to grow. And it's like, well, actually, those weeds have a reason to be there. Yeah.
Yeah. So Adam from Colorado, he put up, you got to get that. You got to get Roundup Ready seed. That was fun finding out. It was fun finding out that that's a thing. And I remember I was talking to a family member who is involved in consulting in big ag, like big farms, and was talking about the Roundup Ready seed. And I said, you know, Roundup, I get you, man. I know what you're talking about, because he was saying, yeah, we tell these farmers, okay, Roundup Ready, hit it. And then we're harvesting it off in a couple weeks, and then you got your silage and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, glyphosate, you know, that's an estrogen mimicker, and it does a lot of stuff. And he was like, no way. And he picked up a bottle. He's like, oh, he never really put that together. But, you know, that's just standard operating practices. You know, hit that with Roundup and away they roll. You know, that's just what they do. So,
and to think that Roundup is probably one of the least damaging of the chemicals. I mean, you can get it over the counter.
Yeah.
You know, buy it at, heck, I think you can buy it at some gas stations sometimes in the spring. You know, like you can let your 4-year-old out there sitting there spraying the weeds in the cracks of the driveway.
Yeah.
Like, that is one of the least dangerous chemicals that they're putting out there in all reality. There's some that are pretty darn nasty, and we're now starting to think of other ways to make things to do this.
Right.
And that's all we're really trying to do, is trying to find other ways to do it. Some people are saying, well, you can't, how are we going to raise all the crops that we need to raise to feed the world? We're feeding the world, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Well, half the corn that we have is going to what? To ethanol plants.
Yeah, that's true. And then they take what they need out of it, and then they get the DDGs, and they send that to farms for cattle and other livestock, or overseas. They send a lot of it overseas in containers,
right,
on trains and boats.
Well, part of the problem is with the crop prices this year, everyone had some really good crops. U.S. didn't have as good of crops as they usually would. And now the crop prices are in the tank. So,
oh, man.
A while back, Earl Butts. I love that name. Isn't it fun? Earl Butts.
Not Seymour?
Nope, not Seymour. Earl. Earl.
Earl.
Now, go back a little bit of history of what happened. How did we win the Cold War? It wasn't in Vietnam. It wasn't nuclear warheads.
It was Star Wars, wasn't it?
It was our agriculture. Our agriculture, we fed the world. We made food cheap. And we basically made it so that other countries relied on us more than they relied on the Soviets. So therefore, what happened? We won the Cold War. We won the Cold War on the backs, and we sacrificed our rural communities, making that happen, right? We sacrificed, because what they said was, get big or get out, get efficient or get out of the way. What happens? And that's still the same mentality today. So you have a lot of these farmers, and it started off with, oh, well, we have a 120 acre farm. Well, no, you have to be at minimum a 2,000 acre farm. You can't be a 200 acre farm. You got to be a 2,000 acre farm. Now the 2,000 acre farm, you're just playing around.
Yep. Yeah, I remember I was working with the railroad out in Wyoming, and in those places, the farms came first, and then the railroad built up into the Powder River Basin. And we were trying to close a couple of railroad crossings, but the agreements were solidified and put in place long before the railroad had built any rails. So I would go up there with a person from the railroad, and we go talk to the ranchers, and they just laughed me out of the room. Here's this slick consultant from Chicago coming in, and we're gonna close. We'd like to close this crossing, and they just laugh at me. And I'm like, "How big is this farm? Oh, I don't know, 50,000 acres or 10,000 acres, or It just was like, okay." And then they brought out their list of demands. Right? They said, "Boom, you're going to build me an all maintenance road," and boom, boom, boom. You're pretty much going to build me a bridge, and I was just like. We had nothing. It wasn't like other parts of the country. It's just different. And even in the 80s, when we lived in Central and had moved to the Twin Cities and had friends and farmers there were farmers in Central Wisconsin, they were gobbling up farms. You remember Farm Aid and all that stuff? As those small farms went out, there were people that were just picking those up and adding it to their farms and building these big farms, these mega farms. And that's just what was happening. People just couldn't keep up.
No, absolutely. It's a very unfortunate situation, but it's very true, unfortunately. And so we have to figure out ways to do things differently. If you want the small farms to survive, they can't do it by the way the system's set up to do. You have to find ways around it. And regenerative agriculture is one of those ways that it can be done.
Right. Now here's an interesting one. This is a new person that popped up and in the comments, and we appreciate this. So check this out. Hoping to have an opportunity to farm someday on an 8.5 mostly wooded acres, and not sure what to do with it farming wise. So that's an interesting comment. I mean, you've got a 5 acre property, right, Adam?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, mine's 8 acres. So he's bigger than I am.
Okay.
So there's so many ways you can go about it. If it's mostly wooded, what I would look at doing is, are you into mushrooms?
Yes, that's where I was going to go with that too. Mm-hmm.
Mushrooms, the other person to think about talking with or researching is a man named Mark Shepard. He's doing a lot of stuff with wooded areas, and there's opportunities out there. There's always the wild edible markets with depends on what you have on there. And, farming the forest, I believe there's a book called Farming the Forest, would also be something interesting to kind of go down also. What's cool about that is you can really bring in a lot of different, there he is. There's Mark.
There's the man.
I saw your eyes jotting back and forth.
Yes.
Like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of opportunities when you're doing that. The other thing, 8 acres, you can do a lot of pigs on 8 acres. Really,
yeah, you can.
To be honest with you. And the nice thing about pigs, so they'll clean up all the mess.
Mm-hmm.
You rotate them around on that 8-ish acres, and you give them section by section by section. They won't stink. It's more of just trying to find ways to give them access to water, access to whatever they need. But yeah, there's opportunities there. Yeah. I think that you ever have any questions, reach on out, come on back. I want to hear what you're doing, and I think that's a great opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, Adam makes a good point here too, that he's got 3.3 acres out in Colorado. And, Colorado is a place that sometimes wants to kill you, I mean, it'll be beautiful sunny day. Then the wind will pick up to a nice, a nice breeze of 70 miles an hour. Then a tornado will come. Then then you'll get snow and ice, and then, hey, the sun will come back out again. It's crazy out there in Colorado. And I know Adam, you grew some, was it alfalfa in your field? But you're starting to test some things out, and it looked really good. I know it was a lot of work to get that done. With us, with our 10-acre property in Maiden Rock, it was very hilly. And if Jules and I were crazy, we thought, well, okay, maybe we could do a flower farm. And we probably could have done it, but it was very hilly, and we'd probably need some equipment to make that happen, and definitely some infrastructure to do it. But I was going the route of mushrooms, and here we go. Oops. Yeah, he was doing oats and such. Yep. So I was thinking about mushrooms, definitely, because I had a nice northern slope that was in the woods, and it would have been great. And that's where we found morels. So it would have been great for mushrooms. And then the other thing I was really thinking about was bees, being a beekeeper. And Adam from Colorado, definitely a beekeeper there. He's got his own desert hives and all that good stuff. So, and I've had him on the show before. But in my case, I had 40 acres to the east that was all going to be natural pollinators. I guess the Wisconsin DNR has a program where you can put your property in and just put in natural wildflowers and such. And I was going to plop bees right there and just try to run beehives there. And then across the county road was another 7 acres of natural wildflowers. And then down the street was another 2 acres of wildflowers. And I thought, man, let's do bees. And, a farm does give you some other opportunities to sell vegetables, apples, if you have an orchard, grape jellies, all that kind of stuff. And the food laws are a little different, I think, right, Adam? I mean, if you have a farm.
Yeah. Laws are changed from area to area, but the biggest thing is if it's the rawer and the more unrefined that product is, the less those laws are.
Right.
And the less hard and difficult it is to do something with that.
Yeah, you don't have to have a commercial kitchen, which was the thing that I always was like, ooh, in this little farm, a commercial kitchen? Are you kidding me? But I don't even have a normal kitchen. I've got a washer and a dryer in my kitchen. So, I mean, come on.
but you don't need to be very, very crazy with a lot of the things that you're doing. Yeah.
Right.
Mushrooms. Mushrooms, I think at least that's a start for you. You can always do some other things also, but you'd be surprised in how well mushrooms will grow. And here's the thing with mushrooms, right?
From a guy who did run a mushroom growing course this fall, and hopefully that comes back for next year.
So shiitake mushrooms at some of these farmers markets are selling for like $20 to $30 a pound.
Wow.
It's selling for more than my beef is selling for.
That's amazing.
There's a lot of people getting into it. Now, if you can find yourself, so a lot of people that are into it are doing it at farmers markets. You have to ask them, are you getting are you growing it off the bags or are you growing it off the logs? They'll say, well, it's the same. Well, to me, maybe not. The logs seem to really work, to my opinion. You get a better flavored mushroom when you get it off of an actual log. Not to mention some of these mycelium bags they're getting their sawdust and stuff. They're coming from China, which I don't know what's in that bag. Yeah. We haven't tested it. There has been some tests. I don't know. Those tests typically there's some other things in there that micro chemicals and stuff. Can you do it? Yes. There is one of my favorite ones is up in Peshtigo, Wisconsin. field to forest or field and forest products. They make all their myceliums right there. They don't have as many myceliums or mushroom brands. They'll have all the ones you really need, and they have all that equipment right there. So they do it. They make it themselves.
Yeah, that's cool. I think if we had stayed on the farm a little bit longer, I definitely was getting a plan together. As much as I beat myself up about that and everything. And one thing that I was also going to get into was comfrey. I had, almost 20 plants that were strong, and to go into, set up an Etsy shop and sell root cuttings and all that kind of stuff. Now you're not going to get wealthy and rich off of that, but it's something, you got to think of it as a cornucopia, a whole basket full of different things, right? Until you find that one thing that's your big hitter and go with that. And then you can offer a few things on the side. So that's just my philosophy anyway, and I'm not sure if that's true or not, but Adam, you've got a small business and a small farm, so you could probably talk better about that.
Which Adam are we talking about? Me or
you? You.
Yeah. So your interest is going to go wide. And as you start trying to find your niche, what you enjoy doing, what you enjoy making, what you enjoy working with, the kind of customers, what those customers need, you finally figure out what really works for you. Therefore, at one time I was the worm shit salesman, right? I was selling worm castings, and that was something, and it did get me something, but it wasn't. It started falling off because I'm like, well, although I could make this work, I didn't love it.
Yeah.
Same with the mushrooms. Like, I could sell mushrooms. The mushrooms can work, and I'm like. And for me, it wasn't something I loved. There's other people that love working with mushrooms. Okay, here, you take this portion and you love it and you enjoy it. I've sold vegetables. I've sold jellies and jams. I've sold relishes and pickles. I've sold a lot of different things. And I really enjoy selling meats, pasture-raised meats. That's where I'm at. Could someone come in and do one of those projects, other projects on my property and work with me? Absolutely. I'm more than happy to work with someone else. So, but yeah, I'm telling you, do with what you enjoy doing. Cast that net wide, narrow it down to what you really love doing, what really makes money. Or what you love doing is going to end up figuring out a way to make money. And we could go a whole different route down that one because Joel Salatin and I don't agree on how to build a business.
Yes. By the way, everybody, this is Mark Shepard here. And he does the little fingers up behind the head. And my friend Greg Burns from Nature's Image Farm, he did this. And I was like, why does he do that? And of course, Mark and Greg go way back. Greg got to interview Mark, and it was a really great discussion about back to the land and the back to the land movement and just, how those hippies that you were probably with at the Bluegrass Festival. Well, in the 1970s, those hippies suddenly became the yogurt makers and the Johnny Seeds, and all that came out of the back to the land movement. So, it's on again. So we can do that. But Joel Salatin. Okay. So if you all don't know who Joel Salatin is, he is Polyface Farm. He was in, I think he was writing for Mother Earth News, wasn't he?
I believe so. He also writes for Acres.
Yep.
He writes for, he has, I think, like 15 or 16 books out. He's not a slacker in that field, right?
No. And he has been tapped, I think, to be an advisor in the new Trump administration, USDA or some such.
Yep.
I think.
He's some sort of advisor or something like that. He was asked to be an advisor. He spoke on it a little bit. He's like, well, who knows? We'll see if it actually comes up or not. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not sure where that's going to go, but it could be interesting because he does a lot of things that a lot of people have picked up and adopted. His chicken tractors and all that kind of stuff, and try to build soil that way. I've got other friends that could tell you that, yes, Joel does it that way in Virginia, but it doesn't work out in Colorado where you get 70-mile-an-hour winds because your chickens will be 3 counties away by the time the wind stops blowing. So, like everything, it might work in one place, but not all. So you got to figure out what works for you. So what did Mr. Joel have to say about building a business? Let's dig into that a little bit.
All right. So
let's take a swing at him, man. Why not? He's going to be in the administration.
So Joel, I like the guy. I was able to shake his hand.
Oh, you did? There you go.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I owe what I do to a little bit of what he does, right? What he's done. Joel doesn't like farmers markets, and he's very big into just going, well, it has to be done right. His whole branding and his whole idea and mine don't necessarily. He said that you could make money at farmers markets, but you're not going to make a lot of money at farmers markets.
Okay.
And we agreed on several things, but we disagree on so much more.
And I think what he's got set up is he's got his own market at home, and he's big into CSAs, right? So he has people coming into his own farm store, and he's also got his CSA or mail subscription service.
Yeah. So for the longest time, he was like, nope, I have to pick everything up here. But now he mails meat out, and he has that all set up. He also had, but one of the things that he was like, don't do farmers markets. You can do other things. Well, my first year running my business, we didn't do farmers markets because Joel Salatin said, don't do farmers markets, right. Just do online sales, really focus on the marketing, and everything makes total sense on paper. But when it comes down to it, like I was doing social media, I had 38,000 followers on social media. I had all these things going on, and I was trying to bring people down to come to my website and buy my stuff. Mm-hmm. I was even working with a crew of guys across the country of social media guys. Together, we had something like 3 million followers between all 6 of us to put product out there. And it just didn't, why isn't this not working? Why aren't people just buying this left and right? We're in front of all these people. And it comes down to people want a relationship with their farmer, with their person. So I don't have a farm store. I don't have a place for a farm store. And I've seen things happen with farm stores. That's like, it's difficult to get a farm store up and running.
Yep.
But guess what? You can go to your customers and you can get things going. So I do a subscription service. I ship meat. I have monthly subscriptions where you can get what you need. But I also go to farmers markets. I'm doing 4 to 5 farmers markets a week during the summertime, getting out there, getting in front of people. And getting in front of people, it took me almost an entire summer to really get rolling, really get going. So I believe utilizing that capture and marketing together, there's ways to make that work. So if don't listen to Joel and say, oh, well, Joel said just have a farm store, and you have a farm store and you don't do any markets, you're going to have to advertise the crap out of that to get anyone to show up at your door. You're going to have days that no one's going to show up. Where at a farmer's market, you're going to at least get someone to show up, And then, like up here, it gets cold.
Yes.
We stop the farmers markets. Well, then follow me over at my house. You can come on over to my house. I've had friends that's how they did it. They build their customer list. That's one of the biggest things. Get a list and have people write their email and put that list out there and send them emails and information on what you're doing. It is one of the most important ways for you to really gain trust with your customers, and that let their customers know who you are and what you're doing.
Right. I mean, I think that's one of the things is, I mean, Joel's been doing it for a long time, and you know, you got to meet your customer somehow. They got to build that connection, you know?
Mm-hmm. And meeting them at a farmer's market, to my opinion, works great.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the quickest, easiest ways that you're going to build your customer base. You know, we have over 600 people on our customer list right now. So one of the things, I was actually talking to Mark Shepard at the time. Mm-hmm. I was making a little bit of a joke, and he knew it, right? Oh, look at that hot chick.
I know. Who are these people? I just don't even know who these folks are. I can't tell you.
So Mark Shepard, so I was sitting there going, okay, I go, made the old joke. How do you make $1 million farming? Start off with $2 million.
Yeah.
How do you make $1 million homesteading? Start off with $10 million.
Yes.
How do you make $1 million being in regenerative agriculture? Write a book.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Same with chickens. Write a book and then tell everybody how you're raising your chickens, and suddenly you're
right.
You'll profit.
Right. You know, so you know, you can say whatever one of those things. It's just getting your name out there, doing what you're doing. Basically, what I'm saying to anyone and everyone that wants to do something in agriculture or anything in general, do something cool first.
Yeah.
And then go out there and find a way to tell the whole flipping world what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
If that means going to a farmer's market and telling everyone, hey, I do this cool thing, great, do it. If it means going on podcast, do it. If it means joining a business club and doing a Christmas tree lighting, do that.
Right.
Get out there.
Yes.
However you can, however you feel comfortable, and however you don't feel comfortable, still flip and do it. Why? Mm-hmm. Because that is the most important part. So I just feel like that was one of the ways you can sit there and tell people, I'm doing something cool.
Right.
Do something cool and then show everyone that you're doing it.
Right. And it can be tough. I mean, just this online presence, there is so much noise out there right now, especially right now. I mean, everybody's selling everything from ornaments to GoPros to computers to cars, right? It's all out there and people are just overwhelmed. I mean, you can even see it in the podcast numbers, the video numbers. People are tuning out. They don't want to listen. They don't want to, it's just too much. And just being a sole online presence, it's really tough. But if you build that relationship, they taste the product and they taste the flavors, then you'll get a customer there. And yes, right. Adam from Colorado makes a very good point. Not all farmers markets are the same. Not all of them are good. Some of them are real dogs and run by some crazy people. It's just the way it is. So you got to be careful out there too, and kind of test and see, right?
Right. Oh, I've seen so many bad farmers markets. I've been part of growing one of the really invigorating one of the farmers markets. He's not wrong. A lot of the farmers markets and a lot of people at farmers markets, I'm just like, you guys are idiots. Like, this little lady sitting there, and she's not going to listen. She's sitting there selling puzzles. She's a great person. Mm-hmm. She's selling her puzzles. It was a social gathering. It's not about making money. There's a few of us there that are actually there to pay for what we're doing to make a living at.
Gotcha.
And I get it.
Did I attend to that one, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Enough said. She was a sweet lady. Truly.
Oh, there's so many very sweet people out there.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I've sold a lot to a lot of these people.
Right.
But still.
And they came to your farm to table barn festival. That was super cool. And maybe again, offer a couple different things. Maybe they'll get them here, but maybe they'll want this over there. You just never know. So
right. So there's pros and cons of farmers markets. You need to don't be willing. One of the things I think we should do a room on this one day, or a podcast about it. Don't be afraid to quit. It's like, if that farmer's market's not working for you, quit it. Go somewhere else. I've had that happen before. You don't feel bad.
Well, and Julie, being a wedding florist, she has had to fire a couple bridezillas or their moms because they were going to be it was going to be really hard. There was one lady, she was making things really difficult. And finally, Jules was stressing because this was a restaurant owner, well connected with the community, but she was so unbearable. It was just like, you're fired. You're fired. You're out of here. I don't want to talk to you again. There's plenty other wedding florists. And that worked out better for everyone. She was just going to be a problem. So. Like Adam from Colorado says, facts. So yeah, this is good stuff. It is kind of fun to talk about all the different ways you can do things. I mean, even, small little farm, if you got woods, you might have firewood just to get you started. Little stand out by the road with a cash box that's secure. You never know.
Yep.
Just to start the ball rolling.
There's so many opportunities out there, and eventually you got to start going to a point and saying, no, I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, but there's so many ways to just do something. Selling seedlings, selling wild edibles, mushrooms. We're just talking about forestry, right?
Right.
Selling logs, sitting there selling either firewood or even wood to make something.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many aspects to that that there's something there.
Right. Well, and even, we've talked about this before too, like Gary Vee did, right? You buy something at a estate sale, turn around and sell it. I've got one of the supervisors I work with. He does that. He buys stuff, like little collections of stuff, turns around and sells it on Marketplace, or used to be eBay, but now Marketplace. I mean, do it that way. You pay pennies on the dollar and make some nickels, right? Or make a couple bucks on it. So there's different ways you can do things that's just not solely ag related. Again, it can be a basket full of different things. Mm-hmm. Just, as a minimalist, that makes me nervous because people tend to buy collections and hold them for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I took that. That's understandable too.
Mm-hmm. So this is good. I mean, we could probably go for another hour.
Well, we should look at another angle at this sometime and see what we can do and have a further conversation. This is good stuff here.
Right. And, Adam and other listeners, if you got a topic you want us to chat about, we can certainly do that. Adam from Colorado put this in here. Yeah. A lot of hard work, and it is hard work. There is going to be a lot of hard work in some of this, especially to get up and running. And you're always going to be wondering if you are going to succeed or fail or fall through the ice kind of thing, so to speak. But, anywho, if there's a topic that you all want us to cover, please let us know. We come up with some fun things to talk about, but we're always looking for new things. I think this whole getting started on the little farmstead is really interesting. Take a look at bees. Adam Rapier from Colorado, he's a bee guy, and my friend Greg Burns is a bee guy, and there's a lot of different ways it can go with bees, and you can spend a lot of money doing it too.
Oh yeah,
but it's good. It's good. So, all right. So what do you got coming up for the rest of the week, my friend?
Well, it's going to be doing lots and lots of deliveries. Got several text messages and emails today. Hey,
Sweet.
we need this, we need that. So it's trying to keep my deliveries organized. So make it through the week here. Then on Thursday, I'll be back over at Java Twist for the farmers market. And then on Saturday, I'll be at Rushing Waters Trout Farm. They're having a little events. They'll be doing smash burgers there with my beef. So it'll be interesting to see how someone else does their little take on a smash burger. I'm not the one cooking them this time. I'll be just out there selling. But yeah, I'm hoping that we get a good crowd out there and see a bunch of friends out there and do some fun stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's kind of my week. A lot of catch up because last week was so busy. I wasn't able to do what I needed to do. But beautiful weather right now. 50 degrees outside and sunny. And yeah, this is get stuff done type weather.
Right. And what am I going to do? I'm heading down to the Dells. I'm going to do a little Yule gathering, so that'll be fun. And then I'll be coming back. So it was a sprint to get those planters put together because I lost a weekend kind of unexpectedly, but that'll be fun. And then I've got family coming in next week, late next week. So we'll be coming back and jumping right into the fireplace or right into the fire with the Christmas activities. So if you need food for your gathering, check out this guy. He's got some food. He might have some meat for you. He might have a good looking gift box that everybody would like. And it would be, it's all about the flavors, right? So,
right.
Definitely. Oh yeah. Here's one more thing. Eccentric person's sport. You got to remember, beehives have like 60,000 potentially very angry ladies. They can kill you if you really piss them off. So you got to be careful, and you got to be in the right zen, put off the right energy, put off the right pheromones. Because man, if they turn, it can be nasty.
That's the reason why I haven't done bees.
You did goats. You've done ducks or no chickens.
Yep. I've done chickens, goats, ducks. I tried turkeys. They ended up dying. Beef. I'll stick with beef. I did a sheep once.
How'd that work out for you?
Delicious.
Delicious. Awesome. Well, we appreciate everybody being on. We've had some good folks checking in. Appreciate the comments. I'm glad to see the little number in the corner is getting bigger. We're going to be coming back next week. We'll have a new topic. Again, if you have any topics, let us know. Remember to learn, do, grow, be a little better every day. This is Tom from Small Scale Life and
Adam with Modern Frontier Farms.
That's right. So next week we'll come back. You can always talk dirty to us, and we'll have another great topic for you. So take care, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Toodles.
Toodles. Pinkies up. In closing, from the north to the south, from the east to the west, and everywhere in between, may the gods, spirits, and folk be blessed at this place. May we heal the land and protect the soil, animals, and plants. May we live in strength and love, leading the way as we learn, do, grow, and be a little better every day. This is Tom from the Small Scale Life Podcast. We'll be back with another show. In the meantime, stay safe and take care, everybody. This has been a production of Small Scale Life Media. You know I never see my plants look so good, growing tall and straight like they should. But I like it, and I know you like it too. Growing veggies for me and you. I've got to grow them, oh yes I do, 'cause baby we'll be growing veggies by the lake shore. Behind those grasses, wicking beds producing more. Starting seeds in the basement, growing plants on the floor, and baby, talk dirt to me. Woo woo! Come on, Jules, talk to me. Dee 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 dee. Hoo hoo hoo. You never know what you're going to get on Small Scale Life. Bada boom, bada bing. It's delicious. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. One more important note. Small Scale Life reminds you that we are not licensed doctors, therapists, healthcare professionals, or financial professionals. You should always consult a professional before starting any practice. All information shared on Small Scale Life or the Small Scale Life podcast are for informational and inspirational purposes. Results will always vary, and participation in any practice or activity is completely voluntary and at your own risk. That said, keep learning, doing, growing, and being a little better every day. You've got this.